My criteria for selecting these art supplies is thinking, if my house burned down today, God forbid, and then I filed my insurance claim, what would be the art supplies that I would miss the most and need to repurchase immediately? I'm going to tell you my 5 top art supplies that I think you need to try. I would repurchase these in a heartbeat, have repurchased, and will repurchase. If you enjoy these types of videos, feel free to subscribe because I post Tuesdays and Thursdays. My very first repurchase, easy, no contest, would be the Sakura Retrico ballpoint pen. This is just a ballpoint pen, but let me tell you why it's a little bit more than just a ballpoint pen for me. This is the nicest ballpoint pen that I've ever had. I'm sure you can get really nice ones for like $80, right? But this is less than 10. Where I bought it in Japan, it was like $3. It is so heavy and has such a satisfying click. It has such a lovely thin tip that doesn't pool ink the way that regular ballpoint pens do, and it almost feels like you're writing with a gel pen because of how smooth the ink comes out. But it's also a ballpoint pen, so you can have those feathery, light, sketchy marks as well. It's great for both writing and drawing, but this is the ballpoint pen I love to use when I'm drawing in ballpoint pen. I recommend buying this because it's luxe, it's cheap, and you can create such beautiful artwork with it, as well as just use it for writing. My second art supply that I would repurchase immediately, have and will, I've definitely bought hundreds of dollars worth of this paper at this point, is the Strathmore 400 series marker paper. You have heard me talk about this so much. I use it all the time. I'll tell you why I love it. This is such a sturdy, smooth, thick paper. It's wonderful for alcohol markers. That's its original intent, but it is also so good for pencil sketches and for ink. It's very inexpensive in the US. I think the paper texture is perfect, especially for me. I love to have very smooth paper that I draw on. Something about the thickness of this paper, how sturdy it is, its durability. I'll take the 6x8 booklets with me when I'm traveling because they're so much smaller than a sketchbook but are such great quality paper. I really love it. Speaking of wonderful paper, this is my very favorite sketchbook in the whole world at this point. I hope I find a better one because it would be such a good sketchbook if it would be better than this one. This is the Moleskine art sketchbook. I have linked basically under every one of my videos because I love it so much. This is such a luxurious, large sketchbook. I love the ivory paper. The color of the paper is beautiful. I love the smooth texture of the paper, same as the Strathmore. It's even smoother. I love how thick each page is, and I also love the size of the book as well as how many pages you get in the sketchbook. It's 96 pages for this large one that I'm talking about. For me, the price is extremely justified and reasonable for the quality of the sketchbook. It's honestly just luxurious to draw in it. I love picking it up, and if you are confident in your sketching style and are not scared of a sketchbook, I definitely recommend trying this one out. If you have similar preferences to me, it's perfect. The fourth art supply that I would run out and purchase would be the Paul Rubens Ulan palette. To preface, I've been sent this by Paul Rubens, but if I ran out of it, I would purchase it. I mean, there's no reason for me to buy it right now. I would spend my money on refilling it again and again, but with watercolor palettes, you rarely need to buy several watercolor palettes. You're not going to be using all of that paint unless you draw at a massive scale, to which I would say probably half pan palettes would not be for you. Specifically, the Ulan palette, these paints are such high quality at such a good price. The set is under $50 for 12 colors. The colors are so deep and richly pigmented. They also don't have a crazy dry shift, which my Holbein watercolors do. That's kind of interesting, actually. These are artist grade. Pretty much all of the colors have a good light fastness rating, so I definitely recommend you try it out if you're in the market for some really good quality, relatively inexpensive watercolors. I love them, and they have actually inspired me to paint in watercolors again. I haven't loved painting in watercolors for several years, but Paul Rubens paints themselves have really inspired me to paint in watercolors. Lastly, this is the biggest purchase I am recommending, but it is the Ohuhu Honolulu marker set. It's right behind me right there. I have the over 300 marker set. They sent it to me kindly in exchange for a video review, which I did. You can watch that on my channel. There are some complaints that I have with these markers, but that being said, once we split the difference between the pros and the cons, these are such fantastic art supplies. Whenever I'm not feeling inspired to draw anything to paint, I still feel drawn to using the markers. So I generally use these markers when I'm having a bad art day because it is so amazing to be able to just pick out a couple complementary pastel colors, not to worry about color mixing, color theory, and just to color in a sketch that I've made. It feels like a coloring book. You can also use them for coloring books, obviously. They're good quality markers and really keep me inspired, especially on the days that I'm really not feeling like creating art. I don't have many art supplies that entice me the way that the Ohuhu markers do, and I've tried out several alcohol marker brands, and there are many that are good, but with the fact that I've color coordinated my markers, they have these beautiful bamboo cubbies these, and I have color swatches for all of them. They are just such an easy art supply to grab a couple of colors and create. I don't often feel that art supplies are comforting, and for me to think that the Ohuhu markers are comforting is kind of crazy. At the end of the day, you have your own preferences. Pick and choose from this list what works for your art style and your own art process, but these are some of my most memorable favorite art supplies that I use constantly. I love them and I would repurchase in a heartbeat. Have and will. Let me know what sit down topics you'd like to see from me. If you enjoy this video, give me a like and subscribe. I post videos Tuesdays and Thursdays. Until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.